Number 1 provides you with a table, and the table shows the percentage of U.S. foreign-born population from 1910 to 2004. So we're going to start by renumbering the years. Your first one represents the initial year, so it's 0. And then we're always going to go back to the initial. So what's the difference? There's a difference of 30, 40, 60, 80, 90, and 94. This will represent your L1 when we plug things into the regression models, and this represents your L2. Part A says choose which is the correct, what's best fits the data, linear, regression model, quadratic, or cubic. So we're going to start by restarting our calculator. So second plus 712. Let's go up to hit the button that says Stat and Edit, and now I'm going to plug into the L1 the numbers that correspond to the years we were given. Okay, I'm going to go to L2 and plug in the percentages that correspond to the years. Okay, so I've plugged in L1 and L2. Make sure, again, your calculator starts with L1 and L2. Alright, so now I'm going to turn on the Scatterplot by hitting second and Scatterplot, pressing enter twice, and then clear. We're going to go to the windows. I want a range that's a slightly below 0 and slightly above 94. And for the percentages, or the L2 column, slightly below 4.7 and above 14.7. So I'm going to go 0 to 20. And those are somewhat arbitrary numbers. And now I'm going to hit graph. So this definitely does not appear to be linear. It's not a straight line. It looks to me like it could be cubic, but we're going to test it. Is it quadratic or is it cubic? So to test it, I'm going to start with quadratic. Stat, calculate, quadratic regression. But before I can press enter, I need to turn on the diagnostics, and I forgot to do that. So we are going to turn on diagnostics by hitting second, catalog, holding down the arrow until you get to the D's. When you get to the D, you're looking for diagnostic on. Press enter twice, and let's go back now again. So we're going to have diagnostics on. So stat, calculate, and we're checking quadratic regression. Look for the R squared. This is going to tell us how tight is this best fit line to the data we've been presented with. So 0.77 is the quadratic. Now let's check the cubic. Cubic, looking at the R squared, is 0.923. So cubic is a closer fit to the data points. Now that we have this cubic regression on, we go on to the next part of the problem. Part B says use the exact model, so exactly what we have on the calculator, and use it to answer the next question. So to do that, we hit y equals, and we want to get the exact regression from the previous screen. Hit the word vars, go down to number 5 and press enter. Go to EQ and press enter. This is the cubic regression model that was on the previous screen. Hit graph. Okay, so we're asked to identify the percentage of foreign-born occupants in the United States in year 1945. We need to transition 1945 into a number that fits into this scale. So how far, or what is the difference between 1945 and 1910? The answer is 35. So our x value is 35, and we'll be looking for the y value. As a reminder, when you're given the x and you're finding the y, it's much easier. Second, trace value, plugging in 35. Part B says to round to the nearest tenth, so 9.2. I look up above, and we're talking about percentage, 9.2%. Part C gives us a y value. I can tell that because it has a percentage, and we want to find the x values, or the years that are equal to 9%, or correspond with 9%. So I come back up, I hit y equals, I go to the second equation I haven't used, I plug in 9, and I hit graph. I want to find out these two intersection points. They both represent when the y value is 9. Second trace, intersect, enter, enter, over the top, and enter. Forget about the decimal, we're focusing on what's in front of the decimal, so 35. 35 years, and we need to add that on to the original 1910. So 1945 is one of the years in which the Foreign occupants in the United States was 9% of our total population. We're now going to look for the next intersection point. Second trace intersect. Enter. Second curve, enter. Over the top and enter. So again, forgetting about the decimals, we're looking at the 86, do not round. So 86 plus our initial year gives us 1996. So in these 2 years, we had 9% of foreign-born U.S. population.